Speaker, and I rise today in strong support of H.R. 1047, the Grid Power Act. And I'd like to thank Representative Balderson for leading on this bill and for Energy and Commerce Committee Chair Brett Guthrie and his staff for their incredible work on this. Mr. Chairman, thank you, and thank you for all of your efforts to make sure that we have the energy grid that we need for future. And we know where the demands are coming from. We know that we have to have the additional high-performance data capability if we are going to lead in artificial intelligence. We know we're in a race with China. We know that for the future of this nation, for the future of our children, we want to make sure that we are on the right path. We know that we will use AI for the right purposes. I don't think anybody believes that China is going to use AI for the right purposes. And across the 1st Congressional District in the Commonwealth of Virginia, I hear from my constituents about the rising cost of energy, whether it's at the gas pump or whether it's their power bills. And I'm proud to co-sponsor this bill, H.R. 1047, because policies like this ensure a supply of reliable, affordable electricity generation, and in turn, we want to do everything we can to lower costs for American households while providing the necessary energy. And we have challenges now. The demand is going to increase precipitously in the years to come. How do we make sure we meet that demand? How do we make sure we have not just the generation sources in place, but also the transmission systems that work together to make sure that we are working against any sort of large-scale failure scenarios that makes a problem for us in the long term. We have to address those problems now. And to achieve this, we have to have our regional transmission organizations and our independent systems operators, we have to give them the necessary authority to prioritize projects that increase interconnectivity to make sure these systems interconnect. So if there's a problem somewhere, we can bring power back in. That's what makes our grid today so incredibly important, is if there is a breakdown in transmission somewhere, we can bring other ways to bring power to people's homes. If there's a breakdown there with generation, we can find other ways to bring power to people's homes, bring power to people's businesses. That's why maintaining and increasing that reliability in the future is key. Resiliency in that grid is key too. How do we do that? We make sure that we do even more to empower the decision makers to have maximum flexibility to make sure that they can put new improvements to our grid in place to make sure that every bit of power generation capacity, every bit of transmission capacity is ensured that it gets power to the consumer, that it gets powers to our families, to our businesses. They rely on that. I mean, we know the interruption that it has. If you have power that goes out at your home or power that goes out at your business, I mean, that's a major inconvenience, and in some instances, a major interruption in your business can be a major safety factor, too, for families that rely on that power for things that are critical to people's well-being at their homes. We have to make sure that we are doing everything we can to make this happen. And by expediting the resources necessary that advance this reliability, increase the reliability, increase the resiliency in the grid, we know that this legislation will help achieve that. And we know that this will help us unleash American energy production in vast new improved ways. Again, modernize the grid, increase reliability. Those things are key. We want to make sure that we're doing that because that brings down the cost of living, brings down the cost of power. When things are more reliable, we have more opportunities to provide power in many different ways. That brings down cost. This bill will allow us to do that. It also helps us restore American energy dominance, where we're using all of the above. We want to use every asset at our avail, both our energy itself, both what we produce there in the grid and the transmission within the grid. We know that this is key for our working families and our small businesses. That's the foundation of strong communities. And it starts with making sure that we have a grid that has maximum reliability and maximum resilience. This bill achieves that. So in closing, I urge all of my colleagues to support this bill. Again, I want to thank Chairman Guthrie for his leadership, for Representative Balderson for introducing this bill. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I yield back.